I remember right before I saw Glass, I saw it was getting not very good reviews. I was disappointed but decided to check out the movie myself despite some very bad weather. Once I was done, I did like it, but I understood why some wouldn't. I think if you went in expecting a sequel to Unbreakable, you'll be disappointed. But if, like me, you were hoping more for a sequel to Split, it's pretty good. Not as good, but still good. This whole review will have huge spoilers for Split, so keep that in mind. A few weeks after the events of Split, David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis, sets out to find Kevin Wendell Crumb, the real name for James McAvoy's character. He does, and after a fight, both are arrested and sent to a psychiatric hospital, the same one Elijah Price, played by Samuel L. Jackson, is in. The hospital is headed by Dr. Ellie Staple, played by Sarah Paulson. Meanwhile, Casey, played once again by Anya Taylor-Joy, David's son Joseph, and Elijah's mother all try to convince the hospital that superpowered humans are real. So this movie, just on what it is, will obviously have some problems with tone. It's combining two different movies, a slow burn comic book drama and a psychological thriller, but it actually does a pretty good job mixing the two together, while also kind of having its own identity. It doesn't feel like I'm just watching Diet Unbreakable or Diet Split. Like Split, it does have some phenomenal suspense scenes. It starts out with the Horde kidnapping another group of girls, and it is legit creepy. And once again, McAvoy is fantastic. He's creepy, funny, smart, sympathetic, but you know he's bad news. Every time he's on screen, you're just afraid he's going to change and go fucking berserk. And we learn more about him, like that flashing lights are his weakness and the way water is David Dunn's. Bruce Willis is also pretty good in the movie. By this point in his career, he had mostly been making direct-to-video movies, and pretty much anyone who sees them not only considers them terrible, but him terrible in them. Although his diagnosis with dysphasia maybe has led to some nuance as to why. Anya Taylor-Joy is great once again, and it's interesting seeing how her character grew after the events of Split, especially given her past. And it's really cool that they brought back the actors who played Joseph and Mrs. Price in Unbreakable. It's really nice to see them again and to team up with Casey. Also, we see Shyamalan make his cameo, and it is revealed to be the same drug dealer from Unbreakable. And he got clean. That's good to know. Despite never being a huge fan of Unbreakable, it is really cool seeing these characters again. They even use some deleted scenes as flashbacks, and that's pretty cool. The action scenes are pretty damn good. There's not a ton and they're not Marvel levels, but compared to, say, The Last Airbender, they're freaking amazing. So I said this is a better sequel to Split than Unbreakable, and I stand by that. David Dunn is not in this that much, and it takes Mr. Glass a while to show up and even longer to actually talk. Once he does, it's pretty cool. Having him and the Horde team up is kind of scary. Like having someone this smart and psychotic able to manipulate someone so physically imposing leads to some great scenes. Again, that's mostly not brought up till the last act. Although he is not the most hateable character, everyone in the hospital is. Some of these tactics border on torture. The only time I think I've hated Sarah Paulson more was when she played Mrs. Epps in 12 Years a Slave. She's good at using the law and our own morality to make us question on whether David and Joseph are doing the right thing, and even manages to gaslight them into thinking their powers aren't real. After a talk with her, Joseph goes to a gym and sees a man benching a ton of weight, similar to his dad in the first film, making him think maybe he isn't special. It's hard, but not impossible to left that much. I know for people who are looking for a sequel to Unbreakable for almost 20 years may want to see more than the two spending most of their time in a mental ward. So while Unbreakable fans may be kind of mixed on it, it is a really solid sequel to Split. Casey and the Horde talking shows her character growth and also her empathy, as even though this man did kidnap her and kill her friends, she does feel sorry for him. And like the others, there is a lot of good color use. There are some awkward exposition dumps. In one of them we learned David's wife died 5 years ago, and it's just brushed off, and it does have a few slow moments. So it's not perfect, and again, I can see why people who really looking forward to the Unbreakable stuff may have been disappointed, but still, through a majority of the movie, I thought it was pretty damn good. But then we get to the ending. The ending isn't bad, but it has its problems. I won't spoil it, but it does reveal something about Dr. Staple, and I was willing to buy it. Like, okay, I can believe this is what her plan was, but then it just over-explains it to the point it becomes convoluted as hell. But even then, I could handle that. My problem with the ending is that it ends like 5 times. Every time I thought it was over, it would continue on with another sort of twist. And one of these endings involves characters posting supernatural stuff on the internet, and apparently everyone believes it. Yeah, this was certainly written in the early 2000s. Again, the ending isn't awful, but by the time it was over, I was more relieved than anything else. I give it a 7 out of 10. I would say it's pretty underrated. I get if you were really looking forward to a sequel to Unbreakable, you may be disappointed, but I think it's a pretty good sequel to both. And after seeing it, I do have more appreciation for Unbreakable. This is also likely to be one of Bruce Willis's last big movies since his retirement, and I think it's a decent one to go out on. So, one more Shyamalan movie to go, and it's gonna be a strange one. See you tomorrow.